So up to this point, we looked at programs that are a combination of many individual functions. However, in a complex software system, programs can be organized at a higher level in which you have modules, and each module takes care of a set of functions or a set of functionalities or objects. And similar to functions, modular design is a fundamental building block in software development. The term module, broadly speaking, refers to a design or implementation of a specific functionality to be incorporated into a program. Although one individual function can be considered as a module, but generally modules consist of a collection of functions. For example, let's look at math module that comes with Python. So I can import that module. So I can say import math, which is the name of that module. And then after imported, I can use different functions that are included in that module. Okay. So as you see, it is like there are many functions that are listed in this module, and you can use whichever you want to use. Okay. So for instance, greater common denominator of two numbers, I can use that. So if I pass, for instance, 20 and 4, the greatest common divider between the two is 4, for example. There are, as I said, there are many functions that comes with this module, and you can simply use them if you import that module. So again, modules are going to consist of a collection of functions instead of having like one or two. Modular design allows large programs to be broken down into manageable small parts. Each part in that module will provide a clear capability. It does a specific thing for us. It becomes handy when we are talking about software development process, because you can say, all right, one team takes care of this set of functionality and they write that module for the software that we are designing. Another team takes care of another set of functionality for the project that you are working on. So you can like divide the tasks between different teams and different individuals using this modular design. It also allows us to test different modules independently. And then after all of the troubleshooting, lots of testing, you can integrate that module into a complex system. So to talk about Python modules, very similar to what we discussed about modules in general software development process, a Python module is a file containing Python definition statements. Okay, or in short, you will have lots of routines and functions in that file. So when you're creating any software, you're going to have a main module which provide the basic for a complex Python program. And then you will have different modules that you can import them into your main module and use their functionalities. So in short, main modules are not meant to be imported into other modules. And we are going to see an example of that shortly. By convention, modules in Python are named using all lowercase letters. Alright, now let's try to create a very simple module. And I'm going to call it actually simple. Alright, here's a file that I open, and this is going to be my module. Okay, so whatever I put inside this file is going to be part of my module. So this whole file is my module. So now let's include some functions in it. All right, so let's say def function 1, and I'm going to say print function 1, and then I'm going to define another function, def function 2, and I'm going to just simply print function 2. So print function 2. So again, I have two functions, function 1 and function 2, and now I'm going to save this file. Okay, so to save it, I simply call it simple. So that is the name of my module. So whatever name you give to this Python file is going to be the name of your module. All right, so I'm going to call it simple and I'm going to save it. So now if I run this code, simply let me run it. This is what I'm going to get because I just defined the functions. I'm not calling them yet. All right. So to call them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this function, import this module, sorry, simple. And then I can say, all right, from module simple, I want to have function 1. All right. So if I do that, I go inside that module, find that function that is called function 1, and go inside and follow the instruction. Similar to what we did for math function. I can also call function 2. So if I wait a couple of seconds, it will show me what functions do I have inside this module. So I have function 1 and function 2, and if I run function 2, I'm going to go inside that function and follow the instruction that is listed inside that function. So now let's make things a bit more interesting. I'm going to create 3 different files. I'm going to call one of them module 1, the other one module 2, and then the third one I'm going to call it main. So go ahead and create 3 different files. As you see on my screen, I have 3 files, empty file basically, and then I have my shell. So I'm going to go ahead and save each one of them. So this one I'm going to call it my main. This one I'm going to call it module 1. And then this one I'm going to call it module 2. So to be clear, my main function is going to take care of different modules call, and it's going to look for different activities or different functionalities from different modules. So let's try it. So I'm going to have my function, like main function, which takes care of calling different things. Right. I do have my main function now inside my main module, and then I'm going to go ahead inside each of the modules, module 1 and module 2, and define some functions. So similar to the previous module, I'm going to create function 1 here and simply put print function 1. And then I'm going to do a similar thing for module 2. Instead of function 1, I'm going to go with name function 2 and then simply print or function 1 in module 1, and then this is in module 2. Okay, so I'm going to save all of them, and now I'm going to basically try to access these functions, right? Right now, like if I have these functions simply in my main, there will be no problem. I can simply call them and get the output. I can simply say function 1 or function 2. Right? Now if I run it, I'm going to get the output. But these 2 functions are not in my main function. Right? They are not here. They are in 2 different modules, similar to built-in modules in Python, such as math, such as random module. So there are some functions inside those modules that I want to access, right? So if I simply just leave it as it is, I'm going to get an error message because it does not find this function in this module, in the module that I created for my main. They don't exist. There is no function that is called function 1 or function 2. So it's going to give me this error message. However, I can import different modules into my program. So I can import module 1 and I can import module 2 or any other module that is available to you. For instance, predefined modules, for instance, math or random, Okay, so you can import all of those modules into your program if you want to. For now, we just need module 1 and module 2, so I'm going to just go with those two modules. So let's run it again, see what we get. We are going to get the exact same error message as before, because again it's looking for function 1 and function 2 inside this program. They do not exist. If you want to get function 1 from module 1, you need to guide it to find function 1 from module 1. So you need to say, all right, here is your guide. Go to module 1 and then there you will find function 1. For this function 2, you need to go to module 2 and then you will find module 2. Okay, here you go. Now it's working. For this example, I used different function names, but you can just leave it with the same exact name if you want to. Since they come from different modules, you're not going to have any issues. Actually, you do. I didn't save my file, so let's save them, run it again. You make sure you save your file before you try to run them. So now function from module 1 is going to print this. Function from module 2 is going to print different things. So you can have an exact same name in different modules, but when you instructed to go to that module, it doesn't care if you have the exact same name in a different module. Simply, each of these modules have their own namespace. This function has a namespace module 1, the other one has namespace module 2, so they don't get confused where they need to go to find that function. And this is a concept that we use in everyday life. This is not limited to programming. Let's say you have a friend. You have two friends that are called Paul. Their name is Paul. So you're talking to a different friend and you want to talk about one of the Pauls that you know. So you say, okay, Paul from dorm or Paul from work. So that way you're saying which Paul you're talking about. And that is a very similar concept. You're saying function from module 1 or function from module 2. So if you have a same name, Python doesn't get confused because you're instructing it to find appropriate namespace.